Our next speaker is Pastor Richard Schwedes from St. Paul's Sydney Lutheran Church in Darlinghurst. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you. I begin by acknowledging God, the Father, creator of all, who in his sovereignty entrusted the care and protection of the land on which we meet today to the traditional custodians of this nation. I recognise the continuing connection that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have to the land, the sea, the sky and waterways. I pay my respects to elders past and present. Palm Sunday is a great tradition in the Christian church. It is deeply rooted in the Christian church because it highlights why Jesus came to earth. That he came to earth not to condemn, not to overthrow power and take power himself in a way that we try to do as humans, but he came to earth to bring peace. Constantly throughout the New Testament and even within the Old Testament, which is the prophecies, it highlights that Jesus is about peace, bringing peace on earth. That's why at Christmas we often look at the prophecy of Isaiah, which talks about Jesus being the Prince of Peace. And yet, then when he comes into Jerusalem in his final week before he goes to the cross, what we see, he doesn't come on a grand entrance in a stallion, but he comes on a donkey, a humble donkey, which is a sign of peace again. And if we want to understand peace as Christians and as humans, looking towards Jesus helps us get a grasp of what this peace is about. It's about caring for others, particularly the underprivileged. It is about working together as a community. It's about treating people, even our enemies, with respect and spending time with them to try to help understand their perspective, but also help them to understand ours. And so when we look at Palm Sunday, this idea of Palm Sunday, where Jesus was celebrated, there were some people on that day who were thankful that Jesus was present. But they had a very selfish approach to peace. They wanted peace for themselves because they wanted power. What Jesus revealed later in the week, which we as Christians celebrate on Good Friday and Easter Sunday, that he brought about peace by humbling himself, by suffering for us, his humanity, by going to the cross and dying, and then by rising again. And then when we see what he does, we see his mission. It's so that humanity can have peace with God. You see, God, despite all his powers, wants to have peace with humanity. And that's why he sent Jesus. And so our challenge, both as Christians, and if anyone calls himself a Christian, is to ask this question, are we after true peace? Are we prepared to show love and care, especially to those who we don't relate to that well, who we don't get along with that well? Do we really want to have a community, or do we just want to have things our way? And so I'd encourage you and encourage us to think about peace in this relationship concept, this way of being with others, caring for others and loving others, just as Christ has done for us. And as we hear often with Christ, he was willing to meet and interact with not just the wealthy, and he did that from time to time, and he wanted to help change their perspective. But he also interacted with the lowly and cared for them because he wanted to make sure that they know they were cared for. And so as a community, we have that responsibility too, to be people who think about those who are disadvantaged, to be thinking about the refugees who are struggling because they've left war-torn places, come to Australia, but don't quite meet government rules. To care for them and to look after them. And the Christian church has a great tradition in this. So my prayer is that whenever we're thinking about peace, we look towards Jesus. Look towards the peace he makes possible for us with God. Look towards the peace that he's encouraging us to have with each other. And may that peace be a peace that's beyond our understanding. May you go in peace. Amen.